Hello, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have a great show, a really, really wonderful show today. You know, so many people reach out to me at the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series, and they say, Jake, listen, you bring the leaders in their field throughout the world to the show, but one thing you haven't had on is someone to talk about vacation rentals and somebody that really understands the entire process, somebody that really understands what's going on, both through a technology standpoint and, of course, through a property management standpoint as well. So, of course, you know how we do it. I went through the Rolodex, and we have somebody out of Scottsdale, Arizona, that really is a worldwide leader in the field. He's got such a great entrepreneurial story. He's won so many awards. His company has won so many awards. That's really remarkable. His name is Mr. Steve Schwab. And Steve is the founder and CEO of Casago. And I have to tell you, the story's remarkable. You're going to learn so much. So many people want to know about vacation rentals and how you manage the properties and what it's all about. If you're not already involved, that I brought Steve on the show to sort of unpack it all for us. I think this is going to be a great show. Steve, welcome to the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And I tell you, it's an honor to have you on the show. You've won so many awards. What you're doing at Casago is remarkable. I mean, you have so many homes that you manage. I mean, we're going to unpack it all, but let's start by pulling the lens back to 30,000 feet and tell us what Casago is all about.
So Casago is a vacation rental property management company. Got started in 1996. I became the owner in 2000. 28 years old. We used to be Cyndi's Beach Home Rentals. Started with 30 properties. Cyndi's husband had passed away. She didn't want to be in Mexico anymore. Handed the business over to me. Took it and grew it to where we're in 29 cities now and about 3,400 properties, and we continue to grow.
I mean, this is an unbelievable story. You know, you took the what was built, and of course, you continue to build it, and it's growing at such great heights. I mean, people always talk about, you know, getting involved with rental properties and, you know, how do you manage the property once you buy it? And it's really become big business, and you're right in the middle of it. I mean, when it comes to, you know, vacation rentals and property management, I mean, when people start thinking about the person who's sort of the top of, you know, the top of the list to talk to, whether to put him on panels or put him on a, you know, on a Zoom call or put him on a conference, you know, you're the guy that they reach out to right now, Steve. So let's talk about that. I want to get into your entrepreneurial journey a little bit, but before we do, what's the process? So I have a few vacation rentals. I know that I need somebody to start managing those properties for me. They reach out to you. How does all of that work? How does all that get put together?
Well, you know, a lot of people will go into vacation rentals and they'll buy a second home. And, you know, really, when you buy a second home, it's not a normal type of investment. You know, you're there to a lot of that has to do with how much you love the place, you know, how often you want to go there. So you need to unlock the unused value of that asset through vacation rentals, right? So maybe you're there, you're staying in a couple months a year, just loving on it. And, you know, the rest of that time, that asset's sitting dead. So vacation rentals allows you to unlock that unused potential of that asset. A lot of people try to do it themselves, some to varying degrees of success. VRBO says that it takes about 7 hours a week on average to manage a property. So when you're looking at that 7 hours, the question comes for a lot of people, you know, what's my time worth? What's the value worth? Is it worth it to pay commission to let somebody else take care of it? And that's where we step in. So we professionally manage vacation rentals, which are just really short-term furnished properties for short stays. We make it turnkey from beginning to end, right? So from the time somebody calls, you know, we take the phone calls, we answer the emails, we provide the listings for them to get there, the advertising. We check to make sure that we do background checks on everybody that comes to our properties, make sure that we're not putting bad actors into neighborhoods, into residential neighborhoods and into your property. And then we're going down the list after that, making sure the property is well cared for, inspected, that the guests get in. If there's any guest service problems, we're there to take care of them. Check out, inspection, and then rinse and repeat. Do it all over again. So
Steve, it's so interesting. I mean, you manage thousands of properties. You've had millions of visitors to those properties throughout the years, and what you've done is remarkable. So for someone that's thinking about sort of the vacation rental business, is it a mistake to reach out to Casago if you just have one vacation rental, or does it make sense to reach out to your company with only one?
No, I mean, most of our property owners only have one property, right? So they just see the value in a lot of what we do with the professional management, revenue management. We're able to go in with the algorithms and we have a data scientist on staff who goes and looks at, demand curves, booking profiles. He's checking pacing reports, gap management, all these things to try to get you the most we can per night, highest occupancy, highest average daily rate. A lot of homeowners just don't have time to do that, or the sophistication, or they live remote. If you live in a city far away, well, how are you going to get there to take care of cleaning or make sure the cleaning was done properly? If there's a maintenance issue, these sort of things. So, we're really the local advocate for any homeowner who needs boots on the ground and wants a turnkey solution so that their vacation rental doesn't become a job.
I love it. I mean, Steve, it's so interesting. So even with one vacation rental, it makes sense to reach out to Casago for you to handle everything that you mentioned. I mean, it's really remarkable. Now, there's a lot of investors in this space now. There's a lot of people that are going out to buy as many vacation rentals as they can get their hands on. I mean, you live in, the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona area. That's a hot area right now. There's some cities outside of Phoenix and Scottsdale, a couple hours away, that are burgeoning with vacation rentals because everybody wants to go to Arizona. So professional investors, we have a lot of entrepreneurs watching the show. Some people are saying to themselves, I like this idea. Maybe I'll diversify my portfolio. I'll go buy a couple vacation rentals. Well, when I think about it, they're not really an expert at running the show. They're not an expert at running the vacation rental. They can be good at buying the rental, but they don't know how to really run it. And that's why they reach out to you, right?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to reach out to us for, especially from an investor's point of view. One, regulation, as you get into these places, as you get into these markets with a lot of vacation rentals, we're seeing more and more legislation, making sure that you're compliant, making sure that your permits are properly submitted, having somebody there so that you don't get fined in case there's a party that shows up that you're unaware of. A lot of our markets have a regulation that if somebody can't come and take care of the problem, a noise problem, that they're going to fine you, and you may even lose your vacation rental license over that. So, varying degrees of legislation, but making sure that there's somebody there taking care of your property, making sure that somebody is looking out after your property, and then trying to get your highest rate of return. With the IPO of Airbnb, there's a lot of interest now in our sector, and COVID really accelerated the vacation rental industry as it's no longer a alternative to accommodations. It's really a mainstay now in accommodations, and the boom is unheard of. It's just such a difference pre-COVID to post-COVID, or coming out of COVID. I don't know if we're post-COVID or not, but as we're starting to see the other side of this, how much vacation rentals have become mainstay in the travel world.
Yeah, Steve, it's remarkable. I call it a mega trend. Some other people have called it a mega trend. It's really the type of thing that you have to wonder in the future whether hotels are even going to exist into the future, because it's really a remarkable way for people to be able to stay in great properties throughout the world. Now let's talk about it. Okay. So I've got a vacation rental and it's 2:00 in the morning and a pipe bursts or something happens at the vacation rental. Well, if I am running that vacation rental myself, I need to have somebody ready to go fix a problem, right? So how does Casago sort of alleviate, that type of challenge as the owner of a vacation rental, should I be an owner of a vacation rental?
Sure. Well, the great thing about having a company like ours is, being the steward of your property, being the advocate in your absence, and pipes do break at 2 a.m. And when those happen, when we get the calls, we're on the ground. If you happen to own a property in Park City or Flagstaff, Arizona, or somewhere out east, maybe in the Ozarks, there's no way you're getting there to take care of that problem. We have a 24-hour call center. We answer the phone 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're picking up the phones. We're triaging the problem. We're solving issues. We're making sure that we're protecting your asset, and also not only the asset itself, but the people who are inside of that home too need to make sure that they're okay too, right? So even just from a liability point of view of your asset or people's safety, having a local boots on the ground, a local hero to make sure that your property's being well taken care of is important when it comes to this kind of a business.
I love it, Steve. A local hero. You need a local hero. Now, I know that you manage properties everywhere, and some of the areas where you have properties that you manage are in Los Cabos, Mexico, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta. I mean, you've got them in Santa Barbara, Scottsdale, Sedona, a lot of places. Right. So here's kind of a funny question. Where would you pick? Where would Steve Schwab pick to go for a week-long vacation right now in the areas that you are currently managing these homes?
So you're going to get me in trouble with my homeowners is what you're going to do. I guess I'd have to say it depends on what I'm interested in doing. Going down to Cabo, if I want to go down with the guys and do some deep sea fishing and get some sun in the middle of winter, maybe that's where I want to go. Park City, if I'm looking to go skiing. Big Bear, if I'm looking to go to the lake in the summer. Snowshoe, West Virginia, for amazing mountain biking in the summer and skiing in the winter. We're opening up Florida. We've got Galveston coming. It's just such a variety of inventory that we have in our portfolio. And, something that I really love as the company's grown that's been exciting to me is getting to travel these places and see the variety and, of the experiences you get to do. So I guess I don't have a favorite, and it would really depend on what my appetite is to be doing on that vacation and what sort of level I'm looking for of activity.
That's such a great answer because there's so much to do. The world is filled with amazing places. Every place now has Airbnbs and vacation rentals and, home aways, whatever you want to call it. But there's certainly vacation rentals that people can take advantage of. Now, what you're doing is remarkable. You've built the business incredibly well. I want to talk about your team because corporate culture starts at the top. I know you're very, very excited about your team at Casago. I mean, You've got people, like you said, you have a hero on the ground when you hire a company like Casago to take care of and manage your property. Let's talk about your team. How important is it for you at your company to have been able to build such a great team that you're so proud of, and they're so proud of working at Casago?
So we have this Ranger Creed in the Army that was really spoken to and memorized by Rangers. The whole idea of that being is when you're out in the field and there wasn't somebody to give you leadership, that you became your own leader. And so depth of leadership became important. And as the company started growing beyond my ability to speak into everybody, we built our own creed, talking about being owner centric. The guests are the renters are our personal guests. And these sort of things became important as the company culture grew. Growing the company out like that was a major part of why we're successful. We still have most of the original people that have started working for us 20 years ago. We have 84 people that have worked for us for more than 15 years, which is just, unheard of. And we're only a 20-year-old company. So it's pretty cool that that's happened. Part of that comes to that they care about the properties. They care about our homeowners. We're all going down the same direction. We've grown that out. That we sort of came to a roadblock at some point that it was either take public money, raise public money, or take care or, take private equity. We decided to go a different route. And so now what we're doing is there's a lot of people who are trying to get into this industry. So we've taken our culture, all of our SOPs. We've taken our software, our coding, training. We have Casago University, which is a big part of what we do. We have 6 people that work just in Casago University to train people. And so we've taken this into a franchise model now. So our new places like Galveston, like, St. Petersburg, Florida, like St. Augustine, Florida, these are all now franchises. And so now we're teaching people our system, using our software. It's an exciting time in the industry and the people want to get into it. And this has been a really great way to stay a private company, a privately held company that still can service the homeowners first and its people first, and not sell its soul, but also continue to grow with people who are the local heroes that are on the ground. The local guy in West Virginia who grew up with the people there, who knows who will swing a hammer and help people, and who will fix that plumbing at 6 a.m. This is the go forward plan for us.
I love it. It makes all the sense in the world to go hyper local with the franchisees and, you being the franchisor, giving them the system, giving them the technology, giving them the proven methodology to take one step in front of the other and actually sort of run and control their local space using the Casago process. I love it so much. It's really remarkable. Now, you mentioned the Airborne Rangers. First of all, my wife and I and everybody at DotCom magazine, we really, thank you for your service to the country. We really appreciate that. Let's talk about that, because I would imagine being an Airborne Ranger, a U.S. Army Ranger, that you learned some things that really transferred over into your entrepreneurial journey. So maybe you could talk about that. What things did you learn being a Ranger that you brought with you to Casago?
It's funny because you don't know what you're learning at the time. You just think it's just hard, right? And you don't know why things are happening. Then you kind of get out and you see the lessons. A good example of what the military and especially Ranger Battalion brought to for me to the civilian world was we were out in the jungle doing jungle warfare school. My platoon sergeant was named John Spizo, and he's out of nowhere tells all us lower ranking guys, go find me a hanger. I want to hang up my uniform. Like, are you crazy? So we're running around looking for hangers back and forth, up and down, can't find anything. Finally, I pull an antenna out of my backpack and fold it up into an antenna or into a hanger. We hang his uniform up and we all go to bed, and we're thinking like, what a jerk. Why he wants a hanger in the middle of what are we doing here? So next morning we wake up, he goes, and he calls all around. He's like, men, that hanger doesn't look like a hanger. But the fact is you guys found a hanger in the middle of the Panamanian jungle. You improvised and you figured out how to get the mission done. Always remember that there's always a way to accomplish your mission, right? And so being resourceful, maybe that hanger that you need to find in your business it doesn't look like a hanger. It doesn't look like you think it should. But you can find a way to be successful. You can always find a resource. And it might not look the way you wanted it to look, but you can always find a way to be successful in the civilian world.
I love it, Steve. I mean, I love that story. And maybe that's going to be the name of your book, A Hanger in the Jungle. I mean, I love it. It's a great story. And of course, you didn't know going through it why he wanted you to find a hanger in the jungle, but after you figured it out, because you became resourceful. And that's what entrepreneurs need to do. For the entrepreneurs watching the show, you should rewind that story that Steve just gave about the hanger in the jungle, because you can think about that in terms of entrepreneurship very easily. When there's a will, there's a way. When you don't think there's a way, you find it. You improvise and you come up with ideas as an entrepreneur. And one thing, Steve, that's very remarkable about your journey with what you've done at your company, Casago, is you said to yourself and you said to your team, there's a lot of other places where we can take our footprint and we can put that footprint in that place by teaching others our system. And I would imagine that systematic approach came from you being an Army Ranger, where you always had a system as a Ranger and you had sort of like checklists and things that you need to accomplish to go from point A to B. Is that sort of the mindset of the franchise?
Yeah, exactly. With the you watch movies with all these superheroes that go around shooting everything up, and you think that everybody's so amazing, but really, true military tactics is like clockwork, right? There's a system, there's a process. Everybody has their own lanes and fields of fire. Making sure that the system works is a big part of that. So making systematic procedures within the company, especially when you're dealing with these sort of logistics, is really important. And then being able to teach your team how to think instead of what to think, so they can make good decisions. So the very first line of the Casago Creed is, "I am the owner's advocate," right? So a lot of times, as we go through that, when I ask the team when they're making decisions, I'm asking, "Hey, is this decision being the owner's advocate? Is this putting the owner and everything in the center of everything we do?" Because when you do that, when you do what's best for the owner, you're also doing what's best for the company, right? So the idea is when somebody is in San Carlos, Mexico, and they're making decisions, and Steve Schwab isn't around, or Ryan Dame isn't around, or Bill, Bill and all the people that are the C-level suite people, the people at the very ground level should be able to make decisions like, is this what's best for the homeowner? Am I being their advocate? Am I being the steward of the property? And so when we talk about those principles every single day, as long as they can come back and say and explain how they got to the decision based on the principles that we all espouse for the company, it's a good decision.
That makes all the sense in the world, Steve. And as you know from watching the show, we recently had somebody on who is a franchise expert. And let me tell you, when I'm hearing what you're doing with Casago really resonates for me because of the fact that, we're going to be able to take people in certain areas. They're going to be able to reach out to you. They're going to have a process and a system that you're going to ensure that they're successful. And I would imagine that you're going to be vetting those people as well, because you want to make sure that those people in those respective areas also sort of follow that Casago creed, where they put the people and the properties at the forefront of every single thing that they do. And I love that so much. So congratulations on that new evolution of Casago. It's amazing.
We're really excited about it. We're really excited to empower those local heroes, with the tools to compete against the big guys in the industry.
I love it. Well, listen, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, I'm thinking about it and I'm saying to myself, I know people right now in certain areas that would love to be able to follow your process because they love managing things and they love, homes and they love people and they love the idea of having a system to follow that's a foolproof system, of course, using your technology platform, which is remarkable. It's a great idea. So listen, Steve, this has been a great interview. I loved having you on the show. I'm going to have you back again. I mean, I'm going to entitle it, Finding a Hanger in the Middle of the Jungle with Steve Schwab, because that's such a great story. And I actually think we could do 30 minutes on that about what it takes to be an entrepreneur and continue to evolve, continue like you've done at Casago and continue to improve. And you're going to receive many more awards and many more, things that come across your desk that people are just reaching out to you and say, hey, we want you on the panel. We want you to talk. We want you to be an expert on, vacation rentals. We want you to be an expert on franchising because you're taking such good care of your franchisees. So, Steve, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We originally spoke and you were in your car and I saw the beautiful weather that you had in Scottsdale. And I know that you get to travel all over the world and certainly, what you've done is remarkable at Casago, Steve. So thank you so much for coming on the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight series today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Eddie.